While universities and private companies focus on technical research areas, other bodies are looking at what we need to make investments in 6G fruitful. In the US, agencies like NIST and NSF have been raising funding and support for institutions like the Northeastern University and the New York University.
What kind of investments does I have to make as in my division to help transition any outcome of basic R&D that the rest of NSF is funding? How do we make it into reality? So what we call as the ideas to impact pipeline, right? So we need to work with the industry hand in hand to get those ideas to have an impact in the marketplace. So we want to do those things at scale and often with everything else that's happening in 6G.
However, investment in research leads to more than technological advancements. It impacts future generations' relationship with the job market, for instance.
As we invest in 6G research over the next couple of years, I think there will be some real significant outcomes that will point us to what are the job skills of the future? What potential career paths could students pursue, even beyond the communications industry, into all the adjoining industries around 6G? So I think in general, industries, different countries, different regions view the 2030 plus as being a 6G marketplace. And as the NextG Alliance has looked across this whole life cycle of getting from research to realization, we come to the conclusion that there are benefits along this life cycle. So if you kind of work backwards in terms of that marketplace, you can see the benefits in terms of how students can prepare their careers for the future, how we invest in education, how we define the remote workplace. All these things that kind of lead up to this marketplace are real benefits we can gain along this life cycle many years prior to actually seeing products and services in the market.
That's why we need to consider which approach will convert into better results when we look at the bigger 6G picture.
I think it's an interesting place to be in right now in the US and maybe even worldwide. What we see happening is that people are chasing after what is the latest, greatest trend, right? So for some, it may be millimeter waves or terahertz. For another segment of the population, of the research population, it could be intelligent surfaces, or for some, it could be sensing. So there are slivers and pockets of people who are chasing after whatever they think is the coolest thing in place. The challenge that we see that needs to be solved is trying to get that bigger picture. How do we bring all of this together? How do we solve the systems problem? And again, even with whether you're looking at low power devices or new metamaterial antennas and whatnot, trying to not just focus on just that one key piece technology, but rather try to say how does that fit in with everything else.
This holistic vision, combined with the current window of time before standardization, provides a unique opportunity for government, academia, and the private sector.
If you look at the life cycle for 6G, basically the deep standards work will not begin until late 2026. So we have this key window right now where we can really invest in research, government, private sector collaboration, areas like test beds and proof of concepts. So that's where the NextG Alliance's focus will be shifting. We'll be of course, applying our foundational documents, but we'll really be trying to project outcomes, working together with government, really advancing this region and this nation, very much consistent with where the rest of the globe is going right now. We have well-established research platforms happening in Asia, happening in Europe. What we need, beyond all the scientific research that's underway, is we need kind of a big win, all-in strategy between the private sector and the public sector. And so that's where we will be focusing over the next year or two.